What's up, guys, and welcome back for another solo mining episode. We're going to be talking about, as promised, fuel block production and kind of setting up for that. I'll kind of explain what you need and kind of how we're going to kind of situate this PI. We're only going to be using one tune, and so we're not going to be talking about huge volume here. We're going to be utilizing these 6 planets for this one character to basically get all of the PI we need, and then our endurance to help us get the ice, and just kind of transform that stuff into something usable, something sellable that we can sell locally and make some good profit. Now, the first thing you need to know is, do you have access to ice? Because you're going to need a lot of it. We do have access to ice here in the system, and the ice that we can actually access is going to be the smooth glacial mass. Now, before you actually start buying BPOs and stuff, you want to look at what type of isotope comes out of your ice. For us, it is hydrogen isotopes, so we are going to be doing hydrogen fuel blocks, because everything that we refine in terms of these ice, compressed ice, is going to give us the isotopes needed. So we're going to go and look at that BPO. I've already got it on the way out here. Once it gets here, we will research it to max. It doesn't take very long, few days actually, just to get this thing completely maxed out. But we want to actually look at everything that goes into this right now, so we'll just drag it over here. Now, for planetary material, we're going to be needing enriched uranium, oxygen, mechanical parts, coolant, and robotics. Thankfully, we're already set up for robotics and oxygen, and also we're producing a little bit extra mechanical parts. So as you can see here in my inventory, we have about 1,800 robotics. We got about 75,000 oxygen. Oxygen we can kind of just keep stockpiling, but we will have to do something a little interesting with the oxygen planet in terms of hot swapping it occasionally for coolant. Coolant's a pretty big big component here. We can stockpile a lot of oxygen essentially, and then when we get enough, we can use the templates to basically swap that gas planet, this gas planet right here, over into doing coolant, since we can get everything we need there. And then when we get enough coolant and we start running low on oxygen, we can hot swap it back. This is something that was not possible before having templates, so that's what we're going to kind of set up today, in addition to making some adjustments to the process planet as well, which I probably will make the changes to the process planet today. I'll probably wait until all of this P1 is kind of already processed through, because the enriched uranium uses the same P1 that we're already producing. So in terms of these 24 factories, we need to kind of prioritize what we need more of. So these first 10 up here above the launch pad, these are all producing mechanical parts, and they will continue to produce mechanical parts, because we need basically half of those to go into the robotics, and we need the other half to get sped out so we can use them at the first level of the fuel block intake. And we won't have to worry about running out of them either, because these 5 factories for mechanical parts will pair with these 5 consumer electronics and go into these robotic factories here. So we'll always have mechanical parts left over after the fact. Now this last row down here, this last 5 is also making consumer electronics, but these are the 5 that we're probably going to switch to enriched uranium. We can simply just change these to enriched uranium, and we can keep inputting all of our P1 as we already are doing, and we will just start outputting that stuff. So we will have that kind of taken care of. So it takes care of enriched uranium, and then we already have oxygen taken care of, mechanical parts taken care of, and robotics. Coolant is what we will be setting up today. We will be building basically a coolant setup, which is going to essentially look just like our robotic setup here. But what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and swap all of these over. Actually, we probably just demo these to make it easier. I've already cleared out all of these guys from the customs office, so we don't have to worry about that too much. And what's nice is this gas planet will be able to facilitate our coolant and our oxygen. So all we have to do is just pick the right template for whatever we need and do what we got to do. So first we need to kind of survey the planet a little bit. We need to look at ionic solutions, which is our electrolytes. It's going to be like in the northern hemisphere, a little bit in the southern, but as you can see, there's kind of like the makeup. And also we need water, aqueous liquids. Not great on this planet, but this is probably the best spot right here. And if we just kind of switch between these two, we can see that we could probably put them, you can't hardly see my mouse there, but we're going to put them kind of right here in the middle. Now we're going to build this coolant template kind of from scratch because it's different than pretty much any of my other templates. We're going to be using 2 extractors. We're going to start off with our 2 P1 factories for each, for both electrolytes and water. And then we're going to feed that into an advanced, and we're going to kind of monitor it. And depending on how much power and CPU we have left on the planet, we will either, we want to kind of keep it symmetric as much as possible. So we want to always have like the same amount of electrolyte and water. And you always want to kind of more P1 production than you have P2, because there's no point in having advanced factories, more advanced factories than what you can supply. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and kind of set this up. We're going to be setting this up kind of the same way we used to with doing things from scratch. So we have it set to showing water right now. We're going to kind of get a rough idea of where the water is, and then look at the ionic solutions as well and see kind of where that's at as well. This stuff's going to move around. We're probably not going to be like hanging out in white on this. So they're relatively close enough together that I think that we can just kind of do our normal kind of formation, as it were. So we're just going to plop down 2 extractors here. We want to get these guys running just so we have those routes working. So let's go and hit submit, and we'll save this template all at the end. Just forgive me, it's like very, very hard to see my cursor, and like I have to kind of hunt for it a little bit on these gas planets. Now this top planet is going to be ionic solutions, because that's one of the, the most northern hemisphere. I'm going to set this to what I normally do, to being about 24 hours, but we're going to go with 5 and see how we do. We can move these up into these little areas just to kind of give us a little bit more yield, and also kind of just help organize everything a little bit. Normally with my other templates or my other extractors, I just like leave them where they kind of pop out. But since we're doing like 2 different things here, we want to kind of keep things separated a little bit. So go and get that started on that one, so I can kind of start rolling. And then once I find my mouse again, there we go. This next one will be the water, which is going to be the same situation. It's going to be set to a day. Go and bring that all the way up to a day. And then we're also going to do 5 on this one. These might have to get changed just so that we have room for everything else. I'm going to bring this all the way down. This will show us the most density. Like I said, since we're doing this, pretty much strictly on one character, 6 planets, the yield is not going to be something like if you would throw multiple alts at this, for instance. All right, there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and hit submit on that, so that timer starts running. The next thing we want to do is get our gas launch pad up. This will allow us to finish these routes for these extractors. Go ahead and plug these links in, and then we can go in here and actually finish these guys off. So we're going to route this ionic solution and then the aqueous liquids over. Excuse the pinging. We have ESS intrusions going on right now. All right, there we go. They're pinging the system for attention. Now, the next thing is going to be doing the normal basic factories. So we're going to kind of keep these separated a little bit as well. These 2 up here are going to be probably our electrolytes, and then these 2 right here will be our water. Let's go ahead and get these links all centrally located. We can hit submit on that. And we'll go to this top one. And we can go ahead and go up here and go to electrolytes. We'll route that over to the launch pad. Same with this one. And then we're going to go ahead and route the inbound as well. So we go to routes. So we see we have ionic solutions coming in. We want to create route and do that on both of these. And we're going to go ahead and hit submit on that just so it's good to go. That way, I've had it happen in the past where I've gotten like an entire setup built and then like the submit button won't work. And I had to start all the way over, which is not something I really want to do. So we were kind of just saving it as we go. Again, water and water. And then aqueous liquid, make sure it's inbound, sending it over to the factories. These guys keep like halting and starting the ESS being just to get attention. It's really starting to annoy me. All right, there we go. So now these will just like kind of start building the electrolytes in the water. Now what we can do is we can kind of look at what our CPU power is looking like and see kind of how much room we have to grow with. We can put this advanced factory out over here kind of separated. We could probably end up, putting a couple more basics in here. But for the purpose of what we're doing in this video, we're going to kind of keep it simple. We're going to be monitoring this so that we can, kind of build it the smart way as possible. So coolant, going to select, go into the launch pad, and then we just go to the launch pad, and we're going to be looking for our water incoming. Go and route that to the advanced factory, and then also the electrolytes incoming, and route that as well. So there we go. Now this thing will just slowly produce coolant, which is definitely needed. So now we're going to come here, we're going to save this as a template. So we're going to call I kind of have a naming convention going on with this stuff, but we're going to call it cool because we know it's coolant convention. And we're going to go 2-fac 1 add ADV for advance. And then we're also going to put the word extract in here. X2. This gives us, kind of an idea what the template is. It's, doing coolant, 2 factories, 1 advance. And then extract here. You can name these whatever you want. I will update my my templates on Patreon after I record this video. So all of this will be available if you want to drop it in and everything. That's going to be pretty much it for this episode. I don't want this video to run too long. Plus, we kind of have to watch this stuff over the next like 8 hours or so and make some adjustments. Once this kind of runs dry, we will probably tomorrow start converting and kind of getting the enriched uranium all kind of situated. But thank you guys for watching. This is going to be kind of a long, long running kind of a process. Once we get all the PI kind of set up where we want it, then we will be able to actually, kind of go crazy on the ice mining and whatnot. Now, it's important to note that before you refine any ice at all, we want to make sure that we have the ice processing as high as possible. I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to drag ice processing 5 all the way up here to the top, and we're going to start working on this because we want to get the most out of our ice, especially since we're kind of doing one character and stuff. We don't have a whole lot of volume coming in. We want to get as much of those ice products and the isotopes out of there as possible. So while this ice processing 5 is essentially working, we might speed it up a little bit. We are going to be just stockpiling ice and everything. I gotta get some of this stuff compressed. We're gonna be storing it compressed too, just in case we have to move or whatever. But we're waiting on the BPO to get here. We'll get that researched. We'll get ice processing 5 completely done. And then also, if you don't have ice harvesting or like any of your ice mining skills kind of maxed out, or your mining ships maxed out for high yield, it's a good time to work on that while you're kind of building up PI. The way that fuel locks work is you're either going to be bottlenecked for ice products, or you're going to be bottlenecked through PI. You're going to be waiting on one or the other. If you go out and do a crazy a few days on the weekend mining ice, then you're going to have a ton of ice and all you're going to be doing is waiting on PI. I like to try to like gauge how much ice mining I need to do based on how much PI I've got on hand, and never like to have too much of one or the other. It's kind of a little bit of micromanaging, but it's how it goes. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.